and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, you already know by the title, but we are going through my 5-star predictions again. I did this video a while back and basically I find it quite interesting. So it's my take on the video where everyone's like, this video ends when I read a 5-star read. I don't like the thought of doing that personally, like to have it all depend on how I feel about a book. So instead what I am going to do in this video is the same as what I did in the previous video. So I'm picking 5 books which I'm predicting will be 5 stars for me, or at least have the potential, and we're going to see if any of them are 5-star reads, and if so, how many. Now this time round I'm going to do 3 Kindle reads and 2 physical reads. Last time they were all physical. We are going to start with The Key to It All by Joanna Russ, I believe. So we're starting with that one, which I think is the longest, and I believe it's going to be like a thriller. I don't know, it just sounded really good when I read the summary absolutely ages ago. And then we're going to go on to Book Lovers, because aside from Happy Place, which I don't own and I can't get until the end of the year because I'm on a year-long book buying ban, pray for me, I know it's been so difficult so far, but it's the last Emily Henry book that I own that I haven't read. Then we're going to do The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, because I've been desperate to read this for so long, and again that's on my Kindle. Then we will do From Luke Off With Love, because I've never read a Marianne Zapata book, and this is the one that I really want to read. And then the last Kindle read and the last read for this video will be Hooked by Emily McIntyre. We're going to make a start with The Key to It All, and I'm going to try and keep this spoiler free and just let you know my thoughts as we go. Obviously if there are spoilers I'll put a warning on screen. But let's see if, and if so, how many of these are actually 5-star reads for me. Might be that none of them are. Might be that all of them are. Who knows? That's the beauty of this video, and I find it really interesting because then I'm not like putting pressure on myself to feel like something's 5 stars. I'm then just like truly basing it off my opinions, because if you saw when I did this video last time, I was literally so sure that almost all of those would have been, and I think maybe only 2 of them were. I don't know, I'll leave it linked down below if you want to go watch it. I'm very excited, and as I say, we're going to make a start with The Key to It All. So we've begun with a heist. I've really been wanting to read like books with some kind of like a heist in them for quite a while, so I was very happy and pleasantly surprised about that. We've been introduced to 2 of like the main 5 characters. So Julia, who is like a school teacher, and Christian, who is a like relief aid doctor. And in the heist at the beginning there was this guy that was doing a job for like this big crime boss, and the team turned on him, and I don't know if it's gonna, I'm guessing he's gonna come back into the story somehow, because that was like a past timeline kind of thing. So Scooter is an actress, and she helped write like a popular song that helped this guy to blow up, but obviously no one knows that she helped him because he's probably a scumbag. And Kamiko, it's saying, works at the sushi factory. So we've been introduced to 4 people. I wonder if we will get a 5th, or if it will be the guy from the beginning. Okay, so I believe Scooter is also a waitress, like when she's not auditioning to be an actress. I think that the waitress is like her main profession. Also, everyone's got their keys now. They've all started having these situations occur where they've had to start using them and try and like put the power behind it to use, and literally as soon as they present the key and ask for anything, they literally get it. So I'm a bit confused. However, I have a theory, and I think I've got a theory as to who's behind the keys, because basically these keys are like silver keys, but they come apart to be like a USB, and they've got like tiny diamonds on them, and I'm like, the heist bit at the beginning, something from that leads me to believe that it's a certain person. Christian has been like taken by like this terrorist group kind of thing, and he's tried to use his to like get out of that situation. Julia's grandma was ill and they couldn't get an ambulance there on time, or they were struggling to get an ambulance there on time, so she's used it to get them like a proper nice hospital, ambulance, everything to save her. Two of our characters have just met, so Christian and Julia, because Christian helped her with a problem that she had on the school trip. Oh, that's all I'm gonna say. And now they're like making eyes at each other, and he's just asked her out, and so I haven't updated in a little while, and a fair bit has happened. I've made it just over halfway through the book now, and basically everyone's just kind of like getting into using their keys, trying to get everything that they want. I have a theory about something to do with the keys, but it's not a fully like developed theory, and I'm not sure if I'm right. But one of the 5 people had their keys stolen, and the people that stole it knew the answers to like their security questions. So she went to this like Martha Faust, I probably pronounced that wrong, but she went to see this Martha woman who is like in charge of the general keys that are very similar, like that kind of company. She has something to do with them, so she went to her and asked for a new one, and she said no, she didn't really know what was going on. And so then this girl that went to ask her for a new key went to her house. When she had gone out, she went in and like was having a look round. She found in this safe 5 files of each of the 5 main characters, like their profiles and stuff about them, and then was like, why have we been chosen and all this. She was like, oh, it's a game, like, so I'm not really sure what the aim of it is. The only people that haven't gone over the top so far are Christian and Julia. Julia seems to be the most grounded of all of them at the moment. It's good, but there's still like mystery elements to it that haven't been explained, and I'm just like, where is this story going? So I've made it to about 85% of the way through this book, and we've just had some things revealed, so spoiler section. If you don't want to know spoilers for the key to it all, then skip to this time that I'm going to put somewhere on screen. It's your last warning. I'm about to say the spoilers now. So, we've found out that Christian's dad was the pastor in the prison, or like some kind of pastor guy in the prison, that helped Mac to escape all those years ago. And then him and his cellmate, I think it was Tobias, I'm still not 100% sure of the names, so I could be wrong. But him and his cellmate went back, found the diamonds, and then Mac then went to find Voss to try and like save his family. And when he got there, he found out that his family were dead, and that like Voss had basically killed them all, or like led them all to dying. So the maid that was working for Voss shot him and told Mac to go, and was like, I knew them, promise me you'll help my daughter because she used to play with your daughter when they were both here, but I had to like send her away before Voss could get to her. Like, I tried to do the same thing for your daughter, but promise me you'll help Julia, who is one of our main 5. So Julia is this maid's daughter that's been asked by Mac to be helped, and Christian was the pastor guy's son, and apparently Mac had tried giving Christian's dad a load of money ages ago to like as a thank you basically and to help him out, but he said no, he didn't want it. Kamiko has got her key back and has like basically ruined Harry. He's in jail. He's not got his key anymore because Kamiko stole it. He's basically like rock bottom. And yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with Scooter, but it's all happening, and I can now understand why Christian and Julia have keys. I'm not 100% sure on the others. Basically, Kamiko took the diamond necklace that she stole from Martha's safe to her uncle. She managed to find him, and she told him about the key, and he was like, is this necklace anything connected to the key? She was like, yeah, kind of, because obviously it was same place, to do with the same person, in a way it must be. He was like, keep it, hide it, don't tell anyone that you have it, don't tell anyone that you've shown me, it's really important. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but we're near the end and I'm like, I'm so like sucked in now. However, overall, this book hasn't felt 5 stars to me, which is obviously the whole premise of this video. At the minute, I'm tempted to say 3 stars, although the ending could bump it up. It's just kind of been a bit like average and not exactly how I'd hoped it'd be. But we've just found out that Mac's old cellmate, who he escaped prison with, Tobias, Scooter, is actually his daughter. So now we know how Christian's related, Julia and Scooter. I still am not sure about why Kamiko and Harry. So I'm on the penultimate chapter and I'm 97% of the way through the book, and we've just found out why Kamiko was given a key, I think. Basically, apparently her uncle like converted Mac's diamonds into like untraceable dollars. So I'm guessing that's why she was chosen. Kamiko's kind of like gone off the rails. She's been trying to take everyone out. Okay, so I've just finished The Key to It All. Not quite what I was expecting. I kind of thought maybe there might have been more like puzzles and riddles sort of side of things in it. I don't know why. I like the fact it started off with a heist. I liked the ending and I liked kind of the mysterious aspect of it, but I feel like a lot happened in the middle that was not necessary. Like there was a lot of just them using their keys for like mundane things, and I'm just like, if you could have cut out some of the waffle in the middle, then it probably would have been better. I think, if I'm honest, I'd probably give it like a 3 or 3.5 stars. I'm not 100% sure. I'll give proper final ratings at the end of this video. Anyway, now on to my next read. So moving on to the next read for this video, we're going to tackle Book Lovers by Emily Henry. The blurb of this one, I'll quickly read it, says, Nora is a cutthroat literary agent at the top of her game. Her whole life is books. Charlie is an editor with a gift for creating bestsellers, and he's Nora's work nemesis. Nora has been through enough breakups to know she's the one men date before finding their happily ever after. To prevent another dating dud, Nora's sister persuades her to swap her city desk for a month's holiday in Sunshine Falls. It's a small town straight out of a romance novel, but instead of meeting sexy lumberjacks, handsome doctors, or cute bartenders, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie. She's no heroine, he's no hero, so can they take a page out of an entirely different book? Actually sounds really good, and I love books about people that love books. I've really not managed to read very much at all today because I've been super busy cleaning and exercising and doing other things. So I'm only 24 pages in at the start of chapter 2 at the moment. And at the moment, I'm not sure how Charlie is a top tier boyfriend. I know we haven't even got to the romance yet, but first impressions of him, I'm a bit like, really? But then I think Emily Henry, I trust her. Her sister's just said that they'll go away for a month or so to Sunshine Falls. Okay, so I'm loving so far the fact that there's like a bit of a plot to it, that she's going away with her sister to like reforge their bonds. I love that it's not starting off about the romance, it's starting off about like the family dynamic aspect. Also, if there's one thing that we know I love in a good summer romance, it's a bucket list, or like a scavenger hunt list, or any sort of like basically bucket list, kind of like what they had in the Lucky List, and they are coming up with one in this. Oh my god, that's why he doesn't like the book, because he's from there. He's from Sunshine Falls. And this bit, it says, you are from here, like here. This is what she's saying. She's just bumped into him and he's just told her that he's from there. And then he goes, I wasn't born on the bar of this unfortunate establishment, he says, lip curl, if that's what you mean. But yes, nearby. Then it says, it's not computing, partly because he's dressed like he just stepped out of a Tom Ford spread in GQ, and partly because I'm not convinced this place isn't a movie set that production abandoned halfway through construction. Charlie Lastra is from Sunshine Falls. Oh, that makes so much sense, because that's why she was shocked when she got there, that nothing was like it was made out to be, and that's obviously why he's got problems with the book, because when he first met her, he was like, oh, it's written by someone who's obviously never been there. So one of her clients that she's a literary agent for has sent her like the first chapter pages of her newest book that they're waiting on, and basically the character is described very much like Nora, as like a blonde shark and not really caring about people's feelings. She's talking about it with Charlie and she's saying, it's fine, I'm fine, I know I'm a great agent, that's not the problem. The problem is I'm embarrassed, ashamed and a little hurt, because as it turns out I do have feelings. It's fine, I'm fine. Then it says Charlie studies me. I'm fine, I say again. Clearly. You're laughing now, but... And then he goes, I'm not laughing. When did I laugh? Then she says, good point, I'm sure that's never happened. But just you wait until one of your authors turns in a book about an Amber-eyed asshole editor. And then he goes, Amber-eyed? I noticed you didn't question the asshole part of that sentence, she says. Oh my god, they're playing pool. But, like... if you've read it and you know... Basically, he was asking her why she's there, and she asked him why he's had a bad day, like what's happened, and he was like, how about a game of pool? If you win, I'll tell you why I've had a bad day, but if I win, then you have to tell me why you're here. She was like, I don't play. Like, lied to him because she used to play quite a lot at like college or whatever. Then he was like, what about darts? And then they settled on pool, and he was like, okay, well what if I play left-handed? And he was like, you can go first, and she was like, well, you need to show me how to do it because I've never played. And then they had like a little mini moment where like, they didn't kiss or anything, it was just like, he was like guiding her and like touched her elbow and all this sort of stuff and was like up against her. And then, so she took the first shot, and as she was doing it, she was like, oh, I probably should have let you know I used to play, and then potted like a few balls. Then it was his turn, he potted a few, and he was like, guess I should have told you I'm left-handed. And I don't know why, but just like the witty banter and like the tension in that scene. Oh, yes. I'm really, really loving this book, if you couldn't already tell. Okay, please ignore how red raw my nose is. As I said, I am ill. I've got a cold, but they've just had a kiss, and up to page 109, the start of chapter 9, and they've literally just spent the evening together, having a few drinks, playing the game of pool, discussing some things, and then he walked her home because it was raining and he had an umbrella. And then he ended up having to give her a piggyback because her heels were getting stuck in the mud. And then they had a kiss at the door to the cottage, but then they both like sort of snapped out of it and were like, oh, this is a mistake, like it's not happening again, kind of thing. They're so cute. At first I was like, how do people like Charlie's boyfriend? But I'm coming round to him. I'm definitely warming, and quickly. So yeah, I think this has definite 5-star potential, and it's going to be a very enjoyable read. Oh my god, tell me why I love Charlie Lastra and his whole relationship with Nora. Okay, so he's just saved her from a date that she was on with this guy called Blake, who's apparently like not very nice and like bullied him at school and is very like judgmental. So they went to dinner together instead, and I just want to read this little bit. So it says, so they're discussing her height because basically Blake was insinuating she was way too tall, and he goes, I want to tell you a secret, you're not that tall. Then she goes, I'm as tall as you. I'm not that tall, he says. What my body hears is, let's make out. And then it says, yes, but for men, I say, there's no such thing as too tall. He holds my gaze far too seriously for this very unserious conversation. My skin buzzes, like my blood is made of iron fillings and his eyes are magnets sweeping over them. There isn't for women either. There's just tall women, he says, and the men too insecure to date them. Oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? Their flirty banter is ridiculous. This book is so good. I'm loving it so, so much. Emily Henry never disappoints though. Oh my god, they mentioned January from Beach Read. I flipping love and adore this book so much. Like, her writing is just, she can take all my money, quite frankly. Whatever she writes, I'm just gonna read it. I know I can't read Happy Place yet, but trust me, as soon as I can, I'm getting Happy Place and reading it, which unfortunately won't be till the end of the year. I finished the book, and 5 stars. Emily Henry can just take all my money, to be perfectly honest. Like, everything she writes is pure gold. I cannot tell you how much I adored that book. The fact that we get January mentioned from Beach Read. There was tons of Taylor Swift song titles in it as well. I don't think that was intentional, but I would have loved to have gone through and like found them all, because I found so many. I had like Getaway Car, Death by a Thousand Cuts. Well, she put Death by a Thousand paper cuts, but still. Wonderland. There was so many more that I can't think of to wrap my head around, but yeah, I loved that book so, so much. And Charlie, just 5 stars, hands down, easy. Probably the easiest 5 stars I've given in a while. Next up is another Kindle read, because as I said, I'm going to keep swapping between. And so next up we're going to do The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I am very intrigued and I cannot wait. I've only read one book by them, which was Lock Every Door, which I enjoyed at first, like the first half, but the ending was just very bizarre to me. So I hear great things about this one, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's going to be a thriller that I'm going to absolutely adore. Oh my god, okay, wow, I've only read like the prologue bit and the first chapter, but I'm already so invested in this book because the chapters are so short and snappy and punchy, and what a start. Like, I'm gripped already. If the whole book's like this, we could be on to a winner. No way. Oh my god. So I've just got to the end of page 254. My jaw is on the floor. I don't know what's going on, but I was like, how is this book gonna get me with a twist? That's how. I'm honestly so shook with what's going on right now in this book, and oh my god, Riley Sager gets me every flipping time with a twist. I just finished the book. I finished The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I really loved it. I really enjoyed it and thought it was very suspenseful and kept you thrilled and wanting to keep going. The only thing is, if you've watched my videos, you know that like paranormal aspect things for some reason in books just aren't really my thing. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it like a 4 or 4.5 stars. I haven't quite decided yet, but I didn't quite get a 5-star feeling. So unfortunately this one was not a 5-star. However, we still have 2 more books to go, and we've already had 1 5-star. So I'm full of hope that most of these, at least the majority, can be 5 stars. And it was really good, and I really did enjoy it. So I think I'm leaning more towards a 4.5. Obviously I'll give my proper thoughts at the end when I've had a bit of time to let the ratings sit with me. We're going to move on to the next book now. Okay, so now we are moving on to From Lukov with Love, which is my first and only Mariana Zapata book that I own, and my first one that I'm reading. So this one says, they're the coldest of enemies off the ice, but could their sharpened passion on the ice turn to unexpected heat? If someone were to ask Jasmine Santos to describe the last few years of her life with a single word, it would definitely be a 4-letter one. After 17 years of figure skating and countless broken bones and broken promises, she knows her window to compete is coming to a close. But when the offer of a lifetime comes from the arrogant idiot she had spent the last decade dreaming about pushing in front of a moving bus, Jasmine might have to reconsider everything, including Ivan Lukov. Ooh, this sounds really good. I have such high hopes for this. It's almost like 500 pages though, I think, this book, so it could take me a few days, a little while, but hopefully it could be a 5-star. We know sort of why they don't get on, and we've seen that they don't, and basically Lukov's coach has come to Jasmine and said, you know, we want you to be his partner for the year, it'll benefit you as well, stuff like that, and she's sort of weighing up the decision. Okay, so last night I read to page 184, the start of chapter 9. I'm loving the whole slow burn of this and the fact that we're getting so much like ice skating stuff. Because as I said, I can't ice skate, or I think I said I can't ice skate, but I love watching it, and like I love the sport because it's so like elegant and beautiful, and it just looks so effortless and clean. So any like ice skating or ice hockey romances I really enjoy. Now this is like really slow burn because they're still like in the they don't like each other phase. They don't call it hate, and I think enemies to lovers is a little bit harsh. I think it's like rivals, but obviously they don't get on very well. And they've just had the interview portion with this woman who was late, and they've got to try and like act as if they're friends or friendly and that they don't like dislike each other. And they ended up having to play a game of 20 questions, and Jasmine didn't know the answers for Ivan. She was like guessing, but he knew some of the answers for her because he's always like paid little bits of attention, and I think we're starting to see the first signs that like maybe he's kind of been watching her for a while and just subconsciously taking note. Her car wouldn't start, so he gave her a lift home, and they've agreed to try and be friends. And he was like, oh, can I come and use the toilet before I go? And she was like, didn't really want him to, but she let him in anyway. And then he ended up staying and having dinner with her family, and he keeps saying like these little things that prove that like he's always sort of paid attention to her, and he sort of remembers things about like her family and stuff with all her brothers and sisters, and he keeps saying like nice complimentary things now. And I'm like this really isn't anything deep, but like they were sat at the dinner table and he went to get himself a bit of like kitchen roll off the roll in the middle of the table to use as a napkin, and then he like paused for a second and he got a second piece and gave it to her. And I was just like, he actually like thought about doing something for her. I know it's really nothing like groundbreaking, but there's like little tiny signs like that we're being shown at the moment that, you know, he actually cares and he's trying to show her that. But I feel like we're getting like the tiniest crumbs of like the behaviours changing and stuff, and they're just doing the photo shoot. If you know, you know. And she almost chickened out, and then he sort of like talked her into it, and then he was freaking out a bit, but they've just like done it. So I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but he calls her Meatball, and I don't know why, like I really want to know. But she's just like had some bad news when she got home, gone back to the rink just like really angry and not even really knowing where she was going. And she's like trying to do all these jumps and stuff, and she keeps falling and like hurting herself. And he's there and he's just asked her to get up and held out his hand and given her a Hershey's kiss. He has his own room at the ice rink, and he doesn't take people there. He doesn't bring anyone there because it's his quiet place, but he's just taken her because she was falling on the ice. He helped her up. She didn't want to get up. And he's took her there to find out what's up with her. Okay, I've literally only read like half a page or a page since the last clip, but I've just found out why he has his own room, because like fans used to sneak in to like the changing rooms and stuff and take pictures of him, and then he used to stay there, so he had like the storage space converted, and he's just made her a hot chocolate. I'm so sorry, I know that all these things that he's doing are like bare minimum, and they're like, you know, probably nothing that swoon-worthy, but when you see how they were together at the start, and you can tell it's building so slowly up to that romance, like, I'm expecting we're not actually going to get any romance till like very right near the end, but I do not care at this point because they've just been babysitting together. If you know, you know. That scene was so cute. Like, nothing really happened, but like, it's just like you can tell that they're starting to get more comfortable around each other and get more friendly. And so I've just done my Pilates for the day, and my god, my legs are like jelly because that was quite an intense one. However, I'm gonna have a shower and get fresh and presentable, but then I'm currently uploading a video right now, so I'm gonna have my shower whilst that's going, and then I do have to edit later, but I'm just literally gonna sit and read most of the afternoon. So Jasmine has just been sick. She was coming down with a virus. She started getting ill in the chapter before, when they were babysitting, but she got like fully ill, and Ivan just like took care of her without even like complaining. He just like scooped her up off the ice again, skated over and like took her to his room again, made sure she was fine, took her home, looked after her there. He called her Hedgehog. This man is doing things that is just like, oh my god. All these tiny crumbs that I'm being given, I didn't think that I had the patience for slow burn, right? But I think it might be my new favourite thing in the world, because this, chef's kiss. He's just had to go home for like an hour or so now. And he keeps like, every time he hangs out with her, he says like, oh, later on I'm gonna have to go home for about an hour or so. And we don't know what that reason is yet. Oh my god, so he's just found something that she's tried to keep hidden from everyone, that she's only held on to in case she ever needs proof. I don't really want to say too much. If you've read it, then you know. But he goes, why didn't you tell me about this? She was like, because it's none of your business. And he goes, you're my business, so it is my business. Oh my god, are you kidding me? This man. Oh my god. So he feels like she's not safe in her house on her own. And he was going to get her ready to take her out for the day, to not really do anything, but just to get out of the house because she's been really ill. She's still ill, but she's getting better. And he's found some things that he snooped, and like I say, she had kept hidden because she had them for proof. And he's like, you're not staying here on your own. Like, he's seen some more of the things that she's tried to keep hidden. I'm really trying not to give spoilers. And he was like, he said, you're coming to spend the day with me at mine. And she was like, no, I'm staying here. He was like, well, you either stay with me or you go to stay at one of your brother's houses till your mum gets back from holiday. She was like, she said her mum's away for 2 weeks, and he shrugged and was like, I don't care. And then he goes, you come with me or I'm calling your brothers right now and telling them why you aren't staying here until your mum comes back. That time my mouth really did fall open. Until my mum got back, that was 2 weeks from then, and I told Ivan exactly that. What did he do? He shrugged, tightness all over his shoulders and arms through the t-shirt he had on. Choose, baby, me or your brothers. Now he's calling her baby. Oh, but oh my god, this man has me swooning. He's only doing like bare minimum things, but like, these two, oh my god, they're both so stubborn. But she was like, oh my god, this is BS. And he was like, yeah, it's really BS that I give a shit about you. And I was like, oh god, this book, it literally has me swooning, giggling, crying, kicking my feet. And I'm like, what's really happened for me to do that? But just how it's all written. He's just told her that he really cares about her, and that, you know, he appreciates that she helped his sister and chose to be her friend regardless of her surname when she was younger, and that he had been wanting to be her partner, a skating partner, for years, and he's known her for 13 years, and there's no one else, partner or not, that he would have like let into his life and his house and that, and he's done it with her. Also, he has 5 dogs, a pig and a bunny. Oh my god, no, you're telling me not only does he have 5 dogs, a pig and a bunny, they're all rescues. So Jasmine's family have all just gone for dinner, and they asked if she was going to go because her dad was in town, he was going to be there. She didn't want to, but she did, and she took Ivan with her. Her dad was like really negative about her figure skating, which he's always been. He's never really been there for her, so she got upset, and Ivan stuck up for her and calmed her down, and then she kissed him on the chin because like just before he left she like quickly went to do it, and like his chin was all she could reach, so she just gave him a peck on the chin. This is how much I have left to go. I'm sad because it's going to be over soon. Like, I really don't have very much. I think I've got like, it's less than 80, well about 80 pages I think actually. I didn't know that slow burn could get me like this, but it has. I think we may have another 5-star, but I'm not going to speak too soon. There's 80 pages, so let's see. But something would have to really, really trigger me or make me dislike it for it not to be at this stage. Oh my god, okay, I've got to be kind of quiet because my family are asleep and it's quite late, but I want to stay up and finish this book because I don't have many pages left. So they just had a kiss because he was like telling her that basically it doesn't matter if they win or lose, and so after he's kissed her she's saying something about his words made me shake on the inside. Maybe it was the conviction, maybe it was the anger, the passion, the reality that he wasn't leaving me any room to not do what he said. Mostly though it was something else completely. I loved him. I loved this man so much that losing him was going to break my cold dead heart into so many pieces. I was just going to have to stick them in the same box I kept my dreams and carry it around with me forever. I didn't want someone to pat my cheek and tell me everything was going to be okay. I wanted this man who would never take my shit, who would never let me quit, and I had a feeling would never quit on me. Not ever. Not if I screamed, not if I kicked, not if I told him to go eat 1,000 mounds of shit. This was my partner. This was more than my partner. He was my other half. And the only thing I could do to thank him for his gift, for this gift he had given me, this knowledge that he thought I was invincible, was to make sure we won. I'd give him the thing he wanted me for in the first place. I'd give him my fucking all. Oh, it's so cute. So they just ran into her ex-partner Paul, and basically he was like trying to talk to Jasmine, and she was like, no, I don't want to hear it, but she had promised Ivan that like she wouldn't kick off until after the competition, but she was like sticking up for herself but not like causing a scene. And then he was like, oh, the reason why I never contacted you was because Ivan rang me and told me not to, like if I ever did he'd beat me up and all this, and like never to go near you again. And then Ivan was outside and he popped his head in and he like stuck up for her, and then Paul left and he came in with some red roses and she was like, oh, did you get me flowers? He was like, no, they're from Karina, his sister. And then he was like, but I did get you something though, and he got her a new bracelet because she always wears the bracelet with the metal strip with the engraving and like the leather straps. He got her a new one that says, to Meatball from your best friend Ivan. And he's got her one, he's put it on and he's keeping that, and it's so cute. I love them so much. He's so wholesome. guys, I got so close to finishing this book last night and then I fell asleep. I got to page 477. Less than 10 pages to go, which is a short chapter and the epilogue. However, we got some romance. Oh, this book, I love it so much. I'm gonna quickly finish it now and then I will come back with final thoughts then. My god, I just finished the book. Oh my god, sorry about my voice. My voice is like going. Yeah, I just finished this. I loved this so much. Hands down, definitely a 5 stars. That's it. We've had 2 5 stars of this video. Will the last one mean that the majority are 5 stars or not? I'm really flipping hoping that this next book is 5 stars. I'll give like a proper roundup of what happens and thoughts at the end, but obviously I did kind of, not spoilers, but I gave like ideas of what was going on throughout it. But the 5th and final book that we're doing now is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. So I've just read the prologue and there was already quite a few Peter Pan references, like the crocodile boots and the pocket watch clock and things. Oh my god, so we've just found out why James hates Peter, and it's quite a valid reason, you know, and he wants his revenge. And I was wondering how, like, because he's still like dark and twisted in this, obviously, like he's not a perfect protagonist, James, in any way, shape or form. Like he definitely still does bad things, but the way that they've managed to, with what I've just read, literally make Peter the biggest villain of the story. And it's like James isn't perfect, but he's the like hero good guy, but like still dark. And it makes so much sense that that's what would have happened, thinking about it now, with everything that's like been said and everything that people, companies that are being run and stuff. I also just really quickly wanted to mention how I love that like all of the characters in this are named after the characters of Peter Pan, but not like so obviously. So Peter has an assistant called Tina Bell, who's obviously a reference to Tinkerbell, and then we've got Smee, who is like essentially James's first mate, but he's the captain of like his yacht thing. I'm really loving all the little nods, and I'm like going through and highlighting them. Since I last spoke to you, the first half of the book was great, right? And I loved it. Now the whole book in general is good and really great, but in the middle I feel like it dipped a little bit and my attention was just like wavering, and that's probably because I was tired, right? So my thoughts on this book are probably going to be a bit unreliable, because where I was so tired, I can't tell if my view on it is because of that or because of the book. but I do think it went a little bit slow in the middle. Yeah, and in these last like 20%, maybe 25%, it's actually picked up again, and it's got quite like twisty. So a couple of people have betrayed Hook, and I guessed one of them correctly because that was so flippin' obvious. But I wasn't expecting the other one necessarily. But yeah, I'm up to a point where stuff's about to go down. They're all kind of like culminated in this one place. The people that have betrayed Hook, Peter, Wendy, they're all there, and I'm wondering what's going to happen and go on, because for a minute I was thinking someone that was told to be dead back at the beginning of the book, I was thinking like, oh, did they actually survive? Like, were they actually not dead? Is it them? But it wasn't, so as far as I'm aware, they are actually dead. I have finished the book. Okay, you know what? We'll save Hooked. We'll have a bit of suspense. We'll go through everything that I read in this video in order as the summary now, and I'll include my thoughts on Hooked at the end. We started with The Key to It All by Joanna Rees, and honestly I didn't really have any idea what to expect going into this book. I liked it. I liked it enough to read it and get through it. I love the fact it started with a heist, and I really enjoyed certain aspects of the book, but I was just a bit like confused and sort of a bit disappointed, especially in the middle, because everything was sort of like just dragging on, and things happened but like nothing happened, and it basically just showed them spending the money, and there wasn't really much of a point to it. As of this point right now, because I can't remember what I rated it earlier in the video because I've literally been filming this video for a few weeks, my thoughts upon reflection of letting it sit with me, I think I would give it like a 3 stars. Then we moved on next to Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and guys, you know my thoughts on this book. 5 freaking stars. Charlie Lastra, are you kidding me? I don't really have any more words to say about this book. I love her writing and how she writes romances and writes male main characters, and just, oh yes, all praise to Emily Henry. Then we moved on to The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This was the second Riley Sager book I've ever read. I think I started with Lock Every Door, and there was like a mini reference to that in this, which I thought was quite cool. I loved this. I thought it was so interesting how it was like past and present timelines kind of, and like everything sort of left on like a mini cliffhanger. It was so suspenseful, it drew you in. However, I wasn't a massive fan of the like slightly paranormal aspect to it, so I think I would give it like a 4 or 4.5 stars. I think I would say 4.5 because I did think it was really good and very strong and unique story. It's just like the little, some bits irked me a little bit, but it was so close to being a 5-star. Then we moved on to From Lukov with Love. This is the first ever Mariana Zapata book that I've ever read, and guys, let me tell you, this did not disappoint. I love the fact that because it's a slow burn, there was no like 3rd act conflict or 3rd act breakup, and we got to see all of the small little like everyday thoughtful things that started to happen and that they started to do for each other, and my god, this is right up my street. I love anything with like ice skating or hockey or sports romances like that, so that was honestly hands down 5 stars. Like, I loved it so much. So far we've had 2 that are 5 stars, 2 that weren't. Obviously The House Across the Lake was very close, but it didn't quite make it. Now Hooked, the final book which I read for this video, I have some thoughts. So I'm not gonna lie, at first, right, the first like 1/3 or half of the book I really loved and I was really enjoying it, and I was like, oh my god, yes, okay, and it was on track to possibly being a 5-star. But the ending, okay, I'm gonna give a few spoilers quick because I just have to, I can't not talk about it. The fact that Smee, okay, I knew that Smee would have been one of the people that betrayed him, right? Because when he left Wendy locked in the bedroom, and then when she tried the door and it was unlocked, Smee would have been the only other person that could have unlocked it and just, you know, done that. So I wasn't shocked when he turned on him, but the fact that he turned out to be his cousin for a start, I was like, okay, fine. That was fine. That didn't irk me that much. But the fact that Hook is not Peter's son, but Wendy's mum's son from another affair, so they're technically step siblings, or like half brother and sister or something, if you will. No, I'm sorry, I cannot look past that. That is just, like, if you're related, why? That's disgusting. So my thoughts are quite strong about that. And then the fact that she turns around and just shoots her dad, like, I get that he's not really been there for her, and like, you know, she had fallen in love with Hook, but I'm sorry, but that whole thing, my view on this book got very tainted towards the end, let's just say that. So I am actually going to rate this like a 3 stars. All in all, we found 2 5-star reads of the 5 books which we read, which I honestly expected to probably get like 3 at least, which is always very surprising and shocking when I do these videos, because you would think